Afternoon. Good.
I think one of the things that got maybe not enough attention on Sunday was your run defense. One of the things you wanted to work on was getting back to really stopping the run. How pleased were you with holding the Vikings to just 41 yards on the ground?
I think the results were good. They may have gotten away from it a little bit and probably got a little pass happy, so that helped out too. But anytime you can have 41 yards, it's a good start.
How was Calijah? Is there any update with his condition?
No update. He's not any worse than he was. He's actually a little better, but we'll take it day by day with him.
Was there a specific thing that caused him to not go back in, or was it just more of a cautionary thing with how he was doing?
I just said he felt a little tight, so we kept him out.
Did he undergo an MRI though?
Yeah, he's good.
Todd, defensively, obviously a lot of things went right there. In terms of sound tackling, just trying to ask if you thought that was different, or if you thought that was an area of improvement in terms of just making the tackles when they were supposed to on Sunday.
For the most part, I thought the open field tackling was very good, especially by the linebackers. Obviously, Winfield as well. So for the we increased it better today than we did in the preseason. We got better up until the first game. I thought it was good. It can be better, but it was solid overall.
I know, Winfield has 10 sacks in his career already, and a lot of that, you dial those up, right? You try to pick the right situations, but there's a certain skill in avoiding the blocker and getting the guy on the ground. What is it about Antoine that enables him to be a good blitzer?
He has a knack, he can set up blockers and go under, go around. He knows when they're off balance, when to go over top of them. He has a good feel. I think he does a lot of film study on who's blocking them and how they're trying to block them, and you got to have a feel for that. There's a lot of people that blitz and run right into the guy. He does not. He has a knack for getting free every time.
It wasn't the start that the offense had hoped for in that game, and Baker even talked about it not being pretty. But can you just speak to his mental makeup to be able to kind of put that start, behind him and go out there and throw 2 touchdowns and then lead another drive that resulted in a 57-yard field goal?
Well, Baker's tough. We knew it was going to be a tough game going in, so that wasn't a problem. Florida's a good DC. They had some wrinkles for us in the first half that were pretty good for us, and we got off to a shaky start, but we settled in. Nobody flinched, and Baker's toughness, obviously by the way he played, the throws that he threw away and didn't turn over were just as impressive as the ones he completed.
Todd, playing against a mobile quarterback this week with Fields, how important is it going to be? How key is it to keep him in the pocket and throw him versus letting him escape?
Everyone's tried. Everybody's tried. He's probably faster than everybody we have in the front seven. So, it's going to be a team effort. We're going to have to rally to him, and they have other guys he can get the ball to. But you say you want to keep him in the pocket and contain him, but if your D-line runs a 4.9 and he runs a 4.4, there's going to be a problem at some point. So we just got to make sure we have enough eyes on him that we can go get him.
You had mentioned the other day describing Baker in one of the interviews that you did with Sirius Radio. He's a guy who'll stick his face in a fan. Kind of just describe what that's about.
He's a quarterback with an offensive lineman mentality. Now, you don't want your quarterback doing it too much, but, he'll make the yards when he has to make the yards when the game is on the line. He plays very smart. That doesn't mean he's a renegade by any means. It just means that he's willing to go the extra mile to put his face in the fan when the situation calls for it, and hopefully he doesn't have to do that too much where he can get banged up. But offensive linemen feed off of that, and then he becomes one of them, and, it's a rallying cry for the offense.
You said, when you signed him, what he was all about. You did a lot of research with him coming out of the draft. But is there anything you've learned from him just seeing him now in game action in a real game, playing for a full 60 minutes?
Obviously, just his resiliency. He was younger back when we first met, so over the years you have some ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and he's worked through them, and he's in a great space, and we're happy to have him. He's very smart. I didn't know he was as smart because I never coached him that much, but just getting us in and out of plays and understanding situations, he's been great.
Rashaad White said that he was actually able to pick up on hand signals that the defense was giving. Is that something that you didn't realize that he was quick with that?
Rashaad might have caught one signal. I think they just played well and they got used to seeing certain things. I don't think we picked up on too many things. It kind of got a little over-exaggerated.
What about the offensive line? That was a hostile environment. This is pretty much a new offensive line. How do you think they did in that first game?
To not have a false start was impressive, starting off with it. again, they got some big guys, and they put some fronts up there that we had to adjust to. I thought it was tough yards, but I thought everybody had a hat on a hat. We can be better, but we were better in that game, in that place, and, you know, I was pleased with them.
You had a lot of rushing attempts, and that was good. You didn't run very well on average. Are you still waiting to see if Rashaad is going to be that guy, that running back one? Is the jury still kind of out on him? He's had one 100-yard game so far in his career. Is that coming, or is it just still an unknown right now?
I think it's coming. I mean, we're still high on him. We believe in Rashaad 100%. Again, they were stacking the line with an extra guy that we couldn't block most of the time, and that made it tough sledding for us, but we hung with it, and we got the tough yards. Rashaad getting the tough yards says a lot within itself. You know, we'll have games where he breaks out, hopefully, and goes from there, but the confidence is high.
Speaking of running, obviously Justin Fields is a big part of the Bears' rushing attack with what he can do with the scrambles and some of those quarterback design runs, but they've got a little bit of a three-headed monster at running back with Herbert and Foreman, who you were familiar with from last year, and now Rashawn Johnson from Texas. What do you see from those three backs on film that gives you some concern?
The biggest thing is all three of them can break tackles. You know, they're not just bruiser runners. They have great agility. They all can block on third down and pass block. They can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they're very stout in protection. So depending on which one is in there, they ain't going to make much of a difference. They keep them all fresh, but we got to make sure we rally to the ball.
Were you hoping to see the biggest growth from week 1 to week 2?
Just more consistency in all three phases. I mean, we want a gutsy game. We got to play better in a lot of areas. Obviously, the first game, you're getting the jitters out. As we get into the season early on, we should start getting better at a lot of things each week.
I know Baker Green's targets were like over 2 early on in the game with that deep ball on the pass attempt to Coe and then the one to Mike. But that 28-yard touchdown pass with him and Mike, like what did that kind of do for the offense? What can that do for the offense going forward, being able to hit one of those deep shots?
Well, in a tough game like that, obviously him and Mike have a connection. Dave made a great call. Mike ran a great route. We caught him in the right coverage, and you know, they made a heck of a play going forward. It's not as how many deep balls we hit, it's how consistent we are as an offense. You know, the deep balls will come. You're going to have some overthrows here and there, but we're confident that we'll get some balls down the field.
Coach Bowles, in talking about your offensive line again, Tristan Wirfs was saying that Robert Hainsey was going to be the key piece in the communication because it was so loud. What did you think about Hainsey's performance in particular and how he can build on that week 1 performance in such a tough environment going forward?
Communication-wise, he did a heck of a job. He's probably one of our smartest guys down there. He got us in the right situations from a protection standpoint. He gets up on the backers very well. He's kind of the key cog from a communication standpoint down there that makes everybody else go, including himself. So he's going to be huge for us.
You see Antoine's performance in week 1 and then as well as former Buck Jordan Whitehead. How much pride does it give you to see guys, not just the ones that are still in the building, but all around the league that you've had a hand on, you know, coach and kind of coaching them throughout the years?
I was very happy for Jordan. You know, Jordan, I joke with him all the time. He can't catch. He went and got 3 picks, and, you know, I couldn't have been prouder for him. He's a great young man. He's a great player, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.